Hello, Gore Horrors and fellow Deadites. I am Brendan,
I'm Sam,
and welcome to Our Life in Horror.
and we are doing a top 10 list.
Yes, we are, of 2000s movies.
Yes, top 10. So this is like my favorite decade.
Yes, it is. I think we're both in our 30s. This is just our decade.
It's our time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just, we were 10 years old, or getting around 10,
Mhm.
and just this is what happened.
It happened. But we're joined by our friend Mike, so I'm going to bring him on in just a sec. Hello.
Hi, everybody. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so excited. Like you said, early 2000s, it might be one of my favorite decades, too. I think it gets really slept on. And like you said, same age range. So I think that's just my decade that I remember everything, and it was just awesome.
Exactly. It's like my decade for nostalgia. Like it's when I think of like when I was getting into it, this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always remember growing up, my school bus would always drive by this video convenience store called Dino Video. And I remember whenever a new horror movie came out to rent, they would always have the poster on the window.
Oh.
So that's kind of where my nostalgia comes in. Like Slither was a big one I remember seeing on the poster all the time.
Okay. Is Slither from early 2000s?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I didn't. Okay. I wouldn't have made my top 10 either, but it's definitely up there.
It's a fun one. It is a fun one.
It's great.
Before we get into this, can you tell everyone where to find you? Because I love following you on Twitter. I still call it Twitter. It's X, I know.
Yeah, no, it's Twitter. We don't know X. You can find me on Twitter/X at Mike Unofficial X, and then on Instagram and TikTok, I think I'm under Mike Unofficial as well.
Perfect. Were you doing like a found footage podcast type thing?
So that's still in the works.
Okay.
Yeah, but I definitely want to do down the line horror content creation at some capacity, but with a heavy focus on found footage because that's one of my absolute favorite genres.
I love that because I came across, I think it was your Twitter page, and I was like, did he have a podcast? Is he starting one? Like, I was confused, but that's exciting. I hope you can find some time to do that because
Thank you.
I would definitely tune in. I need to watch more found footage. Yeah. Yeah. So we have Ryan here. He's hey guys, I'm hoping I can catch some of this. I'll be busy for the next hour. That's okay. Tune in when you can, Ryan. So do you want to talk about how you made your list? Like what's kind of your, I guess, mindset when you made it or your criteria?
So for my list, I wanted, one, you have to go with the ones that are actually like some of the best movies ever made, because there actually are a couple of these that like I think are, if you had to make a top 10 list of all time, I feel like some of these could crack a lot of people's top 10. But I also wanted to have some fun with it and choose personal favorites and just kind of pick from what really had an impact on me. Because, this is going to hurt, but over 24 years later, the 2000s, some of these still had such a huge impact. So you have to give them their flowers. And that's kind of where I have my list.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
What about you?
So, like I was saying before, we got all hopped on it, but like my first four are what I consider key milestones of the 2000s. So they're potentially movies that changed the genre or started trends or in some capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And then my back half is personal favorites.
Okay.
I wish I would like to do another top 10, like another top 10 down the road, and then just have personal favorites, and I can just take not worry about trying to not piss people off by having certain movies on this list. Like,
hey, invite me on. I'm down for that too.
Like, I feel like if everybody's top two aren't these two movies, like people in the comments are gonna be like, "What the fuck?" But like, it's hard because they are the genre setting or changing movies that they are, but it's not like I yearn to revisit them all the time.
Okay.
Compared to other movies that I would prefer to put on this list.
Oh, I'm so curious about your guys' list now.
I am too.
I guess the mindset I went into it was my personal favorites.
Yep.
Like I really tried to, which is hard because I could have a top 20 personal favorites for the decade or more. So I just really thought about the ones that I would want to watch the most, I think, and which ones are like my comfort films.
Okay.
So I didn't really think about what other people were going to think. I
feel like your list is going to be so much fun and it's going to make me jealous.
Yep. I think so too.
Like it just sounds like an awesome fun list already.
I hope so. Okay, we will get into it. I'm just going to pull up Craig here. Howdy guys, checking in. I'll be on and off. Stupid real life always interfering. No worries, Craig. Come in when you can. Okay, do you want to start us off with your number 10?
Sure thing. My number 10 to me is a combination of such a strong ghost story / psychological horror film, and that is 2001's Session 9.
Oh,
I haven't seen that.
I feel that movie goes so under the radar. It is a top film to me, and I don't hear it discussed enough. But it's basically like this group of asbestos removal people going into a haunted abandoned insane asylum.
Ooh.
And like, it's a very slow burn, but the storytelling is fantastic. It's atmospheric before like we got these better A24 neon moody type movies, and I feel like if this had the budget and was in the mid 2010s, this would be like an A24 film.
Okay. I've never seen it. Did you say is it found footage or no?
No, so it's not found footage.
The plot sounds like it could be.
I mean, honestly, if they made it that, I think it would be even creepier. It fits first found footage.
You're writing these down, right?
Yeah, I'm writing
okay, because I want to remember to look that one up. We have Craig. Session 9 is so underrated. It might be a bit too slow for Sam, but the acting is amazing, and the big reveal is worth waiting through any slow parts. I'm still down to give some slow movies a shot.
That's 100% agree with that statement.
Yeah, it is slow. I haven't seen it in quite a number of years, but it is quite slow from what I remember. I don't even remember if I finished it or not.
Okay. My people know me too well.
The slow burns aren't the jam. That's fine.
Yeah, just for me personally, I have a hard time sticking to my attention span.
That's fair.
But I'll look it up. I'll watch a trailer and see what I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to hit us with yours?
I will. And this is a twisted tale on a child's fairy tale, or I don't know if you can call it fairy tale, but something along those lines, I guess. But it is 2003's Darkness Falls.
Okay.
With the evil Tooth Fairy.
I was going to say, that's the Tooth Fairy one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you showed me that movie.
Yeah. I think this movie has such a killer opener. It's got Ted Raimi in it, who gets a brutal death. This movie is bad in every in every way possible. Trust me, like other than the opening scene. But I pray to God it gets a nice boutique Blu-ray upgrade at some point, because I really like this movie. I remember it scaring the shit out of me as a kid, and I love to revisit it every couple of years, even knowing it's so bad.
I don't really remember it well, so I'll revisit it with you one day.
Yeah, it's good. It's dark. It's creepy. You got she's wearing the porcelain mask.
Her look was awesome. Like the look of her was great. I do remember when I was a kid watching it, I didn't appreciate it. I did circle back to it as an adult, and it still wouldn't be in my personal top 10, but I don't think it's as bad. It is bad, but I don't think it's as bad as everyone used to make it out to be. It's got moments.
It does. Like I like how you can only stand in the light and stuff like that. I think it just channels like primal fear of the dark.
Okay.
That it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna be the worst movie on my list. But I had to throw it in there.
All right. My number 10, and you might be shocked that it's high up on my list, but it's Hills Have Eyes.
Ooh.
I think this is a perfect movie. I think it's incredible. Like storyline, I love the casting. As soon as they hit that RV scene and shit hits the fan. It's so bleak. I love bleak. I think it's so high on my list though because it's probably not as rewatchable as the rest on my list because of how bleak it is.
Yeah.
It's dark. The mutants look disgusting. The dogs are badass, especially the one. It has probably the most kills in the movie.
Beast. Oh, it's Beauty.
Was it Beauty? Yeah.
I think Beauty.
I think it was. Yeah, I just think it's such a great movie. It's my number 10 though because of the rewatchability, I think. Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything because it also might be on my list.
I knew it would be.
With that movie, that movie probably has one of my most memorable theater moments because I've always enjoyed horror, and once you watch a lot, not as much gets to you. But when I saw that movie, I had a huge AMC, the largest drink you could have, and we're watching, and when it got to where shit popped off, I chugged the entire pop because I was so anxious. I think that might have been my first ever anxiety attack.
Oh my goodness.
And I just left that theater like, what the hell did I just watch?
What was that? Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty intense. I love the family dynamics though in the movie too, like the sisters and stuff. I don't know. I just really like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. Craig McFarlane thought enough of Tooth Fairy looks to make it into a movie maniac figure. Wasn't awful.
So there was a reason Todd McFarlane made that Tooth Fairy look before the movie came out, I believe, and spoiled the look. So they changed the look of the Tooth Fairy for the movie.
Oh.
I think that's how that went.
That's smart that they changed it.
The Tooth Fairy McFarlane toy looked way better.
Oh. Never mind.
Yeah, it looked leagues better.
Oh. Cough, cough, Hills remake, cough for us old people. Yes, I know it's the remake. I have not seen the original. I was kind of advised not to, I think. So I just didn't. I never got around to it.
If you like the remake, I would try the original because the original is also really good. But this is the case for me where I would say the remake is just a tad better than the original.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. Yeah. Have you seen the original?
I haven't. I never made it through. I think I fell asleep twice.
Oh.
I don't know if that was because it was my...
Is it 70s, 80s?
70s.
I think it's 70s.
Okay, I've been wanting to get into more 70s stuff, so I might.
Oh, the exploitation era.
Yeah, I like exploitation.
Yeah.
So.
Very gritty decade.
Yeah.
Like
I like what's that one? Last House on the Left.
Yeah.
I watched that one after having a little edible, and
honestly, same impact as like The Hills Have Eyes. Yeah. I'm just like, great for what they did. It's not a movie I'm going to revisit that often.
Yeah, I hear ya. Okay, we're getting into your number 9.
My number 9. There might be slight theme with my list that I did not intend. Another ghost type movie. But this one is 2002 Ju-on, the original Grudge.
Okay.
the Japanese version or the original Japanese Grudge. A horrific tragedy happens in a house, and anybody who goes in the house basically suffers awful death from a basic vengeance ghost. And vengeance ghosts, come on, like can't get better than that.
I didn't watch that one, right?
You didn't, I did.
Yeah, you did. I watched Ringu.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And I have to admit, I enjoyed watching Ju-on a lot more than Ringu.
Okay.
Yeah. I think there's more of an atmosphere. No, I can't even say there's more of an atmosphere. It's just it's more jump scare. It's less story heavy, more jump scare almost.
Okay.
But like the jump scares are so effective that it just gets right under your skin.
And it's haunting. Like the whole movie's just haunting.
Yeah. Very bleak, the original one compared to the remake.
Yeah.
I might have to watch it. I like the American remake still. But I'd like to see where it came from, I guess. But
yeah,
I think because we watched Ringu and I wasn't a big fan of it, I was kind of turned off from trying Ju-on. But I mean, I can't really put them in the same category because they're different movies. But yeah, I'll give it a shot. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, good pick.
That's a great pick. You looking for my number 9?
I'm not looking.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But my number 9 is 2006's The Hills of Eyes.
Oh.
It's lower on my list than what I would have liked, but then again, like we talked about, the 2000s is such a hard decade to pick and choose your favorites. But in my opinion, this is better than the other remake I have on my list, but it didn't start the remake trend. I guess everybody knows what's at the top of my list. But this movie is so gritty. Like Sam was saying, with the family dynamic is great. I love the main character and the growth that he goes through, his challenging his ideals and turning him basically into a killer. As the start of the film, he's a pacifist. Is great. I love Ted Levine in this movie. All the Hills of Eyes people are actual like good actors in makeup. So yeah, and this movie is just ultra violent, and like you said, with the when shit hits the fan, it hits the fan fast. Awful. I will give it this: awful fire effects for the time. Like they do not hold up, but all the practical effects hold up outstanding.
I need to give that one a rewatch.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch soon.
Make sure you have your emotional support pop with you.
Yeah. Emotional support pop. I love that.
Okay. My number 9 is Joyride.
Ooh,
I love this movie. We watched them together for the first time like 4 or 5 years ago, probably 5 years ago almost. And I think I watched it like 3 times after that. And we actually did our very first, back when we were just a podcast, we did our very first podcast episode on this movie because I love it so much. I just love the chemistry between the two brothers, Paul Walker and Steve Zahn. Yeah, I love them together. And this movie is just so like edge of your seat. Like I could like skip watching it for a year and watch it again the next year and I'll still be on the edge of my seat. Like even though I know how it ends, I'm just like, oh, it's so intense. And I love the whole car chasing and just Rusty Nails, his voice is so creepy. Like, and then the first one is like a really intense like horror thriller. The next one's become more like slasher, but I still love this one the best because I don't know.
There's a sequel?
There's two. Yeah. They go downhill in quality, but they become like slashers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're good. They're like fun, I guess. I'm not going to say they're good, but they're fun. I have to rewatch the third one because I watched the second one within the last year and like I still liked it. But the first one's just so good. The storyline, the acting, everything. Yeah. So Joyride.
Yeah. Joyride is fantastic. Fun movie. And it's a great movie that I haven't done it in a while, but like that plus The Hitcher makes a great double feature.
The Hitcher.
Yep, we watched it.
We watched that, yeah. Is that the one with what's his face?
Sean Bean.
Yeah, I'm bad with actor names, so I don't know.
The guy that always dies in every movie, is it?
I don't know.
No, well, that's him.
Okay.
You can watch YouTube compilations of just his deaths.
Okay. Yeah, definitely try out the sequels if you have time. They're fun.
You know how in the original there's like no gore, basically.
Yeah.
Just in part 2, they amp it right up.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you see everything.
And that's a good point because I usually like want gore in my movies, and the fact that the first one doesn't have it and I still love it is like saying something.
Well, you also got like a 19-year-old dreamy ass Paul Walker to look at.
That does help.
But also, they just did such a great job with the tension. Like,
yes.
I think that's where, because I love gore too. I like horror movies to be very rated R. And that one just did a good job because the tension that they built, like you said, edge of your seat all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All the time.
Yeah, when they do that prank and they're in the motel room and they hear on the other side and they're just staring at the wall, that scene is just ingrained in my brain.
Yeah.
It lives there rent free. So Joyride. So we're going on to number 8.
Okay, so number 8 for me is Dark Water 2002. Another Asian ghost story. But if you are a fan of movies like The Babadook, where it's really more about like the relationship between a mother and their child and how it's not perfect and there's a lot of trials and tribulations of just being a mom, this movie to me feels like one of the starts. The mom, she's trying to win custody of her daughter. She finds this cheap apartment and basically you just run into a ghost story. And towards the last 15 minutes, there is a jump scare that is so effective. It like chills right up your arms into your spine. Like, I love this movie.
I don't know that one.
I have it downstairs.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. I actually love that you're bringing up all this J horror.
Yeah.
I think there's like a 2006 remake with like Jennifer Connelly, I think it is.
I think so, yeah.
Not as great, but not awful. But no, Dark Water 2002. Absolutely fantastic. I just rewatched it. Again, super atmospheric, and then another slow burn, but when it gets to where it's going, it's so like I said, the jump scare is effective, but then the overall ending is so bleak but also beautiful.
Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wanted to watch it because I went through a phase of buying all these J horror movies because I wanted to get to them, and then
it's impossible to get to everything.
Just never got around to getting to them.
Yeah. Well, good to know that you got them.
I do. I also have One Missed Call and Pulse. Then, so I think that's the other two like big J horror movies from that era. Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll have to try Dark Water.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm glad that you're bringing up these movies that I haven't seen because I just thought, I don't know, mine are so basic, bitch. Now I'm like, oh, I'm embarrassed. Okay, what you got?
Okay, so this movie came out in 2004, and it was one of the most acclaimed movies of its year. It's extremely claustrophobic. It's about a group of girls going on a cave diving trip. It is The Descent.
Yeah.
Such an emotional filled movie between Sarah and Juno, yeah.
Juno.
And extremely claustrophobic. I remember when I finally got around to showing you this movie, I made sure to turn all the lights off because Sam doesn't like to watch movies in the dark because
usually because I got a snack or I got to write notes or
yeah,
I want to see my snack.
we didn't have to write notes or any of that. I'm like, we're turning it off before they get to the cave because the cave is where the movie magic truly happens for this.
We got Davey. The descent is incredible.
Davey.
Hello, Davey.
Yeah.
And the cinematography also makes you feel so claustrophobic. And in the environment, sure, you have the small glimpses where Sarah is maybe hallucinating, but you could also be thinking that you're seeing something in the background because the environment does provide that. And then when you get to see these amazing creatures and their practical effects and how they move and communicate, it is just absolutely terrifying.
It is a good one. You showed me this one not long ago.
Yep.
Like last year.
It probably hasn't even been a year.
Yeah, and I loved it. I really wanted it to be on my list, but I think some nostalgic factors took over here with mine.
It's a great movie. I won't say too much about it for right now. Wink, wink.
It is really good, and I love when movies are claustrophobic because that's a massive. Is it a fear or a phobia or phobia? Of mine?
Claustrophobic.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm super claustrophobic. I don't even like if he like lays on me and the blanket's on me and I feel trapped. Like I will like hyperventilate.
Yeah.
So if a movie can like make me feel that way, like I love it. So yeah, really wanted it to be on my list. It's on my long list, but
Okay.
yeah. Oh yeah, Davey. I was so stoned the first time I watched this film, and it was a brutally claustrophobic experience. Holy crap. And this one gets better on subsequent views because you notice more and more each time.
Absolutely.
I actually liked the sequel, too. You didn't, I think?
No.
I liked it. I liked when they were, like, finding the bodies and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't feel it needed to be made, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah, it didn't need to. I can see that, but I kind of liked the whole finding of them all and stuff. But
I think it's a movie that gets worse the more you watch it.
So it's the opposite.
Because I also really liked it the first time I watched it. I was like, oh, it's so cool. You're seeing her go back and confront her like her new fears and stuff like that. And then you just realize that they end up kind of going through the same motions that they went through this last movie. And it's like, she's already done all this. Like, she should be fucking Ripley, like in the beginning of this movie. Fortunately, it's just not kind of how it goes now.
Yeah. Okay. My number 8. This is where I get a little silly.
Oh, I like it. Silly.
This is one that you have not seen. And I'm going to be showing you this October.
What?
It is the Night of the Demons remake.
Oh. That's in your top 10?
Love that movie so much. And it is like, I'm going to be watching this every Halloween. I just watched it last year for the first time. So I'm kind of shocked that I put it on my list over a couple certain movies.
Yeah.
But I had so much freaking fun with this movie. And I know a lot of people I've heard did not like it when it came out. I don't know. I just think it's so much fun. I like the cast. I don't know. I like a group of young kids going and getting in trouble. So that's like my favorite type of horror. So, but why are you looking at me like that?
You just watched this movie in the summer.
I know. I love it.
You're willing to.
Yeah,
okay.
It's going on my list.
All right.
I love the original so much too, but obviously that's not in the 2000s. But this one I would watch probably just as much as the original.
Okay.
I know the original. I have not seen the remake.
Oh,
I'll have to give it a watch.
It is just fun. Like, that's the best word I can use for it. Fun.
Okay.
Yeah. It's on my list. It's on my list.
All right.
Not a lot of people will agree with that probably, but
I know. Where's Rob at?
I know. Okay. Number 7.
Number 7 is a movie that I just watched for the first time about a year ago. Because I'm not really big into the new French extremity genre, but this movie left such an impact. It is 2007, Inside.
I love it.
That movie is a movie.
Yes.
It's scary. It brings out fears that I didn't even know I had. It's a great home invasion with a twist. It is extreme based off of like real extreme horror that other people watch, I would say this is a little bit more mild. But for my personal taste, they went pretty far with a lot of brutality and gruesomeness. But the acting was great. The story really hit me, and I probably once I was finished watching that movie, I turned off my TV and just sat in silence for a good 20 minutes because I just couldn't process. And anything like that, you have to just be like, you know what, that makes your list. Because still to this day, like a year later, when I think of the movie, I have that same reaction. And that's just a well done movie.
Yeah. I love that movie. I love all the new wave French extremity movies.
Oh yeah.
Love. And it is extreme. And I've watched extreme horror shit, and that movie is still extreme. Like that one left me sitting there too. Like yeah, don't downplay your emotions. It is extreme.
Because I'm like,
it's good. I like how like edgy it is too, and the killer is just creepy. Like she's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the scene with she walks by like the back patio window and you can just like see the silhouette of her face, and that's pretty much it. It's just a great way to set up the atmosphere.
And like when people say, I know that on Twitter there's been like a mini discourse about women aren't scary enough to be horror villains. To that I say watch Inside.
Yeah.
Watch Inside. And then come back and talk to me. Because
absolutely.
She was terrifying.
She is.
I'm trying to think of other like female villains.
I know. I feel like the pressure is like I can't come up with something off the top of my head, but I'm sure I can come up with some.
My favorite female villain is, and it's over 20 years old, so it's not a spoiler. Sorry, everyone. Urban Legend. Urban Legends. The psychotic break in Brenda just like is one of my favorite scenes of all time.
Yeah, she's a nutcase. Yeah, we watched that one not long ago too.
Yeah, we watched all three of them.
Yeah, that's a good one too. But yeah, Inside is such a good pick. Did I put something on my list? No. So the French Extremity, I really, really, really wanted to get one of these on my list. It's going to be an honorable mention that we'll talk about later because I love it so much. It just did not make my top 10.
I know. I had one too that didn't make my top 10.
Yeah. But I'm so happy you brought that one up.
Yeah, same.
So good. Big Rod, thanks for making my drive home more enjoyable. Sorry, I can only chat at red lights. Please drive safe.
Drive safe.
You can listen in. We know you're here. Thank you, Big Rod. Don't get in an accident listening to our top 10 lists.
It's not worth it.
Are we on 7?
Yep.
What's your 7?
Oh boy, the 2000s for vampire films. You had Twilight. That's my pick.
No, it's not.
No, of course it's not.
I'm like, you don't even like those movies. I do.
I was like, I thought I knew what it was going to be, and then you said Twilight. I'm like, oh.
The Twilight was the phenomenon that took over the world, making vampires sexy. Yeah. Unfortunately, my movie does not. It is 2007's 30 Days of Night.
Okay.
The vampire film that was completely overlooked other than by horror fans that came out at the wrong time. It's got Josh Hartnett. You got Ben Foster, who's incredible in it. And just bringing these mean, savage, unrelentingly violent vampires to the screen in a time where personally I needed it the most. I remember watching this movie and thinking, thank God somebody gets it. These vampires traveled I think they had an excellent plan. I know it's based off a comic book. I haven't seen it, but it was originally supposed to be a movie anyways. Yeah, I just love it. I love the scene of the over the town shot of the chaos of these vampires just rampaging through this town. It's become more of a cult following now, but it's just unfortunate. If it would have waited a year after this Twilight fiasco, I think it really would have been a bigger success.
See, you were watching that, and I was over in my world watching Twilight.
Yep.
Reading the books, watching the movies.
That's what I mean.
I was watching both.
Yeah. You showed me this movie too, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah, I vaguely remember it. We've watched so many movies, I can hardly retain things if I don't watch it twice. I would revisit it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like whoever thought of this graphic novel or whatever it was originally, they understood what vampires could be or should be, because these are probably the best vicious vampires in vampire movie history. They kind of remind me of the vampire version of like 28 Days Later. Yep. It's just really amped up, intelligent, vicious. Like, it is a good movie. I love 30 Days of Night.
Yeah. Danny Houston. That's the head vampire. I always forget his name, but every time I see him, I'm like, love that guy.
And this is the one movie everyone asks me about when I tell them I'm from Alaska. Is that where it's dark, like in that movie, 30 Days of Night? These vamps are as opportunists as politicians.
Yes, they are.
You're not wrong.
All right.
What's your number 7, Samantha?
My number 7. Oh, this one's kind of wholesome, in my opinion. I went with Trick or Treat.
Okay.
This is just so festive. Like it's hands down my favorite Halloween movie to watch, and you showed this to me too. Oh my god, you showed me so many movies. And we've watched it so many times, like around Halloween season.
Every Halloween.
Yeah, it's my favorite one to watch, and now we kind of made a tradition out of it too. So it's just throws up Halloween on you. And what a better movie to watch during spooky season. I love it. I love anthologies too, and I just like how all the stories tie together. I love all the girls. They become werewolves. Yeah. I love them. It's just a cute movie, but at the same time, spooky. Yeah. So it had to be on my list because that's one we watch every year.
Yeah, that's a good one. I haven't seen it in a while, but you gotta love Sam. Mm-hmm. And the movies or the segments themselves are very entertaining. I'm not the biggest anthology fan because when they're too short and I can't really grasp onto the story long enough, I'm just like left underwhelmed. But Trick or Treat, I do remember thinking, like, as I was done, I was like, I really enjoyed it. And like you said, it's a fun, festive movie. Like, you can't help but watch it around Halloween.
Yeah. And it's almost like cutesy Halloween, but you also don't want to show it to your children because of like some scenes. Like, it's super cutesy festive, like in that way. But I wouldn't be showing it to like a 3-year-old.
Well, no.
I really like it though, and I had to put it on my list just for that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm going to talk about it later.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would be on yours.
Oh,
okay.
Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Okay.
Top-notch pick there, Sam. Why, thank you. All right, we're going on to number 6. Yeah.
Okay, so my number 6 is where I feel the American remake is better than the original by a landslide. And that is 2002, The Ring.
Oh.
The American version of Ringu, which, no shades of Ringu, it was a decent movie, but I think The Ring just really, especially at the time, 2000s, we've always said, like, a lot of people, we were getting the remakes, like the Jason Part 7 kind of thing. Like, we were getting into the goofy sequels. The Ring really hit you with horror again, like scary, atmospheric. There was a beautiful story to be told. Samara was strikingly fear like inducing when she comes out of the TV. That's such a scary moment, and I didn't like it when it first came out, but when I rewatched it, I was like, this movie's terrifying. It starts to get like, now when we see the type of movies that have come out, it's a little bit more mild, and the faces of them being dead are kind of silly to me now. But again, this is another movie that I think if it came out now and they had the resources to do what A24 is doing, it still would be one of the scariest movies. I love The Ring.
That's a good pick. I haven't seen it since I was probably in high school, but it scared the poop out of me back then. And we recently did an episode, kind of recently did an episode on Ringu.
Yep.
Didn't really like it, to be honest, but I really do want to revisit the remake, because even if I don't think it's scary now, it'll still be, I think, have that nostalgic factor for me. So that's a good pick.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't touch much on it. I will talk later.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, what's your
number 6. This was one of my first DVDs I ever bought. Ooh. And I still have that DVD to this day. Okay. And it is 2004's British horror comedy, Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
This movie is pure comedic genius. It is the perfect love letter to George A. Romero's original zombie trilogy, using quotes. It is Nick Frost, Simon Pegg, one of the best British comic duos. And now I'm blanking on the director, Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright he has that amazing quick pace, almost Sam Raimi-esque, like speed up stuff, and they're just comedic timing is fantastic. The practical effects look great. Like you see people like literally torn apart in front of the camera, and it tells quite the emotional story. It is at heart a rom-com.
Oh, that's unexpected.
Yeah, kind of. What do
You're just trying to get me to watch it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Do you like this movie?
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I do remember what I did enjoy about it. For being a horror comedy, it wasn't scary horror, but it did not pull back on the gore. So that's what I like about horror comedies is when you embrace some part of the horror. Like, I want it to still have a horror element to it. It can be scary or just give us some gore, give us good comedy. And like you said, yeah, there was like a rom-com feel to it.
Yeah, it's got that buddy-esque story too. Like, I'm trying to think of like some comedies that would be like that.
Like a romance?
No, but like, you know, the friendship growing stories. Like Superbad or something like that.
Or Tucker and Dale? Or
yeah.
Not really.
Nah, not really Tucker and Dale, I would say.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. What are some other of those like early 2000s like comedies where it was like buddy ones?
Yeah, you said Superbad. I'm trying to think of another one. I guess I would put this in like a zombie version of American Pie, but for an older crowd, not high schoolers.
I was obsessed with American Pie growing up, so that might have sold me.
I can see that. Yeah, I know. Well, I'm going to make you do an episode on it because I think this is a movie I think you should watch. And you watch the UK
reality TV
shows. And I honestly think that you'd really love and get a kick out of this.
Okay. All right. I'll give it a chance. We can do an episode on it.
Yes.
All right, let me get back in the comments here. Is The Ring the best PG-13 horror flick? My buddy Cole calls this type of movie walking sim horror.
Walking what?
Walking sim? Did I say that right?
Sim, yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Like a walking simulator? I could see that because, like, it's a lot of just traveling.
Oh,
It
okay,
is,
that
yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
It's a mystery at heart, though.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, so she's going to unravel the story.
Okay. Hey, Ryan, welcome back. Mic drop moment, Brendan.
Yeah, thanks, Davey.
So many great references in this flick, and it stands on its own as a great zombie flick.
Yes.
Sam, Shaun of the Dead is absolutely worth it. One of the best zombie flicks that stands with the best of Romero's bunch. Okay, well, we'll do an episode on it by the end of the summer.
Oh, yes, even better.
Road Trip was a great early 2000s flick. Road Trip.
Yeah, that was
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the one where the buddy stays on his couch. He moves in with them.
The buddy
And,
stays on his couch.
He's
so vague.
The main character is living with his girlfriend, and then his buddy moves in and kind of just never leaves, and then they have to get rid of him, and then they end up growing together.
That sounds so familiar, but I don't know.
Mike's thinking about it. I know. I don't know what it is either, but I've seen it.
Oh my god, it sounds so familiar. It's gonna kill me now.
Oh, you can almost think of it as like Due Date, but in this case, the characters actually like each other to start. It's just by the end they kind of grow.
Okay.
Due Dates with Zach Galifianakis and Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I don't know that.
No? Okay.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's not great, but
Okay.
I guess RDJ was pretty funny.
All right. You've already sold me on the movies, though.
I've been trying for years, people.
Okay, we're going on my number 6.
Yep.
This one is going to come to no surprise. This is like one of my favorite summer movies, and it is the Piranha remake. I have way too much fun with this. It has so much gore. It's on the water, which is one of my favorite settings for horror. It's got boobies. It's got partying. It's so much fun. It's got music. It's spring break, baby. I love it. I love how, I don't know. I love the whole massacre, like on the beach too. It's one of my favorites to watch in the summer. I've watched it a few times, probably this year alone.
Yeah, you've watched it twice already.
I know.
Is it called Piranha like Double D or something?
It's Piranha 3D, and then the second one is Double D. The second one's
3DD.
not as good, but it's still fun. I mean, the 1D is really good.
I'm gonna have to put that on my list because I've seen the original and the 90s remake. I have not touched the 3D and Double D ones.
There was a 90s remake of Piranha?
Yeah, with I believe Mila Kunis was the little girl.
What?
No. Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into this.
Yeah, write that down.
I want to say it was 90s.
Oh.
I want to say it was 90s. I could be wrong in the decade, but I'm like 95% sure Mila Kunis was in it.
Okay. I've never even seen the original. I've only seen these two. But
oh, the original's so good.
Yeah, I've been wanting to
Piranha.
see it. I've been wanting to see it. He has it. So we got to watch it by maybe the end of the summer too.
Sure.
I'm putting a lot of movies on our list here.
Yeah, the busy summer.
Yeah, but definitely if you haven't seen 3D, give it a shot and just expect it to be fun. Yeah, just a fun time.
I like Shark Night 3D, so I have a great time with fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of like big names in this movie too.
Yep.
I just am blanking right now on everyone.
Vim Rames, Adam Scott. I can never remember the female's
there's a
name,
guy from Vampire Diaries in it. I just forget his name.
Yeah, you get
and a girl from Gossip Girl, and I forget her name too. But
Jaws. We just talked about Richard Dreyfuss is in the opening.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Due Date is kind of a remake of Trains, Planes, and Automobiles.
I can definitely see that for sure.
Haven't seen either of them, so holy shit! I never realized that, Davey. You're right. Okay, we're moving on to number 5.
So number 5 for me, I'll steal a little bit. Happened like a year or two after the Twilight craze. It was also a great vampire film. A little nice film from Sweden we like to call Let the Right One In.
Ah, awesome pick.
I go back and forth. Like when people say, like, "Oh, what's your favorite vampire movie?" Mine will switch because I love vampire movies are fun. But Let the Right One In will usually always interchange between my number 1 and number 2 for vampire films because it might be the most highbrow, like well done vampire film of like, wow, these types of movies, it should have been nominated kind of thing. Like, it's a great story, beautifully told. The acting is phenomenal. And then, if you guys have seen it, the pool scene is one of the most iconic scenes. The destruction, it's just such a great film. It's again another slow burn, but as long as you hit what you need to hit, I am fine sitting through a slow burn. And Let the Right One In did exactly that.
We have not seen the original.
No, we saw the remake.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I've seen the pool scene just by itself. And I understand what you're saying, but unfortunately we just never got around to watching it.
Yeah, no, I do want to see it though.
Me too.
Yeah, because I liked the remake from what I remember.
Yep. The remake is solid. Like, it is a good remake. For me, the original, it's just like, it is phenomenal. I can't say any more good things about it. Like, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah. Okay, good pick, because that's another one I got to put on my list now to watch. That's one of Peel's favorites. Okay.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Dillinator?
Dillinator.
Oh,
Welcome.
good day.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. What you got?
Oh shit, we're on mine.
You're on yours.
Yeah, I went with Trick or Treat as well for my number 5. This was another movie too where I remember seeing promotion for this movie, and there were trailers out for it, and then it just kind of never. I believe it went for theaters for like a day, maybe, and then it went straight to DVD after that. Like, this movie got slept on so badly by the company that it's so unfortunate, because now it is like this amazing Halloween cult classic that everybody loves. Sam has absolutely taken the world by storm on Halloween. Yeah, when you walk into a Spirit Halloween, they have a row dedicated to Sam.
Yeah, I know.
It might be the like biggest Halloween merchandise out there now. Like, I think Sam just overtook everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a big Sam that we bring out for Halloween.
We have a big Sam. We got a Halloween wreath with Sam all over it.
Yeah, we do.
Like, he's everywhere, and I think these 4 stories that are told are fantastic. Mm-hmm. They all interconnect and intertwine, and if you watch it on multiple rewatches, you can see other characters in the background walking through the scene before or during their story. So it's really cool, and that's how I love it. I think it is one of the best anthology films ever made.
Mm-hmm. I will agree with that statement.
Yeah.
Solid pick. Trick or Treat's fun.
Yeah. Jordan Peele, I mean, yes. I only watched Trick or Treat for the first time last year. I was missing out big time. That movie's great, and I love how they tied the stories together. Yeah, I only saw it too for the first time when you showed me like 4 years ago, probably close to 5, and we've watched it every year since. I love it too. It's the best festive Halloween movie in my opinion. Where are we? 5?
Yep.
Okay. Man, I feel so basic here, but I'm going Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh,
which you showed me too. And I put it on the other night, actually. Last night I put it on, and then we had a power outage, so I only got halfway through, and I was so bummed. Not even halfway through. You were doing a interview discussion thing, and our power went out, and I was like, God damn it. But it's just so much fun. I love the main girl. She's in the Night of the Demons remake as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I really like her. And it's got Freddy and Jason. Like, you can't go wrong with that. It's just so much fun. It's got Catherine Isabel from Ginger Snaps, from so much stuff, American Mary. I mean, it's just so good. It's got great kills. It's got a good soundtrack, great cinematography. It's just a blast. So it's going to become a good comfort movie of mine for sure, I think, ever since you showed it to me. Yeah, I'm glad that I waited way too long on that one.
That's probably my favorite pick that we've done so far. That movie it's not my favorite movie, and this might not make sense, but it is my most rewatched movie. I have seen that movie more than I've seen any other movie, probably by a difference of like 20 times.
I love that.
Something about that movie is just like the easiest movie to watch. You're not feeling good, put it on. You want to watch something, you can't decide what, put it on. Like, that is my movie that I know I'm going to have a good time with.
Yeah.
Love that pick.
Good. Yeah. I love it.
Freddy vs. Jason is one of the reasons I got into 80 slashers. I think it's a great movie. Amazing marketing for that movie. Such a fun idea. It ended up becoming the highest grossing film of both franchises. Still, I think to this day, it was the last time we got to see Robert Englund play the role of Freddy Krueger, and I think he absolutely nailed it out of the park for this one. Some of the CGI does not hold up very well, but it does have one of the coolest Jason. Like, this is in my top 3 Jason kills of all time. When he, Catherine Isabel's boyfriend, when he like just stabs him through the bed and then just fucking lifts up both sides of the bed and just squishes them in half. Oh, fantastic. So I totally understand this pick. I'm surprised that
it's on my list.
It's on your list because you watched it about a month and a half ago.
With you?
Yeah.
Was it only a month and a half ago?
It was
like the beginning of the year.
Was it?
You know what's funny though? That bed scene, I remember from a long time ago, so I feel like I have seen it a long time ago. I just didn't remember it.
Yeah.
But I remembered that kill.
Okay.
But yeah, we got Christy and AJ in the chat. Hello, welcome. I know you're a friend of Mike's too.
They're so awesome. Hi guys.
I know they are awesome. Had to fact check. Mike Mila Kunis was in fact in the Piranha film. Okay. Okay. Thank you for checking that, Big Rod. I'm definitely curious now to check that out.
Big Rod, could you tell us what year it was?
Yeah. As long as you're not still driving.
Oh yeah. No, never mind. Sorry.
As long as you've arrived home.
At a red light or home.
Okay, so that was my pick, my 5. So we're going on to your 4, Mike.
Okay, my 4. These are where like it got very tough for me because my 4, I'm shocked, is not my number 1. But it just didn't work out that way. I'm a huge fan of found footage. It's my favorite subgenre of horror. I love one location horror films. They make you claustrophobic. They're scarier. And this movie is Wreck, the Spanish original. The American remake is Quarantine for people who are trying to figure it out. But Wreck is scary. Wreck wrecked me the first time I saw it. It's a Spanish language film, so subtitles all the way. Please don't do dubbed, but no, that movie just like ingrained. I remember where I was when I watched it. I remember how I felt, and I've seen that movie so many times. Like I said, one location, They did a great job at keeping you in one spot. You get that sense of claustrophobia because you're imprisoned, you're quarantined into one apartment building, and you can't even go into the rooms. Like, you're sequestered in a hallway basically, or the lobby, and there's this like virus zombie type outbreak, and it's a good time. Once it hits the ground running, it doesn't let up. And I just love that fast-paced energy, anxiety inducing. Like, that movie's so strong to me, and it could easily have been my number one.
Nice. That's a great pick. Sam hasn't seen it yet.
I haven't, and everyone tells me to watch it, and I know it's been on my list to watch forever, and we just haven't gone around to it. But I really want to see it. It's really been talked up.
That's a great pick. And I was thinking, I was looking through the 2000s movies, and I kept seeing Quarantine pop up, and I didn't bother to check and see what year that Rec came out, but I think Quarantine came out like almost a year after Rec.
Oh, that's fast.
Yeah, like it was a really quick turnaround because Rec was so popular.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go back and give it a rewatch. It did not make my list, but now I'm thinking about it, and probably should. There's a bunch of movies in my honorable mentions that I wish I could have put on, but
same. Yeah,
we gotta do another list of these. But Rec is an amazing choice. I think it's a great story. I think the scares are all there with with the practical effects. Yeah, I think it's great, and the sequels are good.
Yeah,
like 2 and 3. I don't remember 4 at all, but
yeah, that's fine.
I think it takes place on a boat, but that's all I remember.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta see him. I know. I want to. Yeah.
Check
soon. Big Rod, 1995 for Piranha. I'm
Thank
home
you.
now. I'm glad you safely arrived.
Yes.
Okay, I guess it's my number 4 pick.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be the movie that reinvented and brought back the zombie genre. So these are my next 4 are basically milestones of the 2000s or trendsetters, and this is one of them. This is the very low budget independent horror film by Danny Boyle. 28 Days Later.
I don't think I've seen that.
I know you haven't seen it.
Okay.
And it's so upsetting.
Great.
This is Cillian Murphy's first role, I believe.
Okay.
Dude's young. This movie is super grainy, super raw. And it was amazing that in London they cleared the streets because it's about a guy that wakes up in a coma after so long, and the outbreak's already happened. So you see him walking around in empty London when normally it would be packed full of people. So it was quite shocking for a lot of people to see. And this was the first time they were introduced running zombies.
Oh.
So, and when these zombies run, they fucking sprint and they don't stop. Extremely terrifying. I love when they are infected, their eyes are so red that it looks like they're just bleeding.
Is this the one that's getting a new movie?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The sequel's also good. I haven't seen that in quite some time, but this is another movie of kind of challenging ideals of the main character, of somebody who isn't necessarily wanting to do any harm to anybody, but by the end of it, he is full on. I'm going to compare him to Rick Grimes in season 4 and 5 of The Walking Dead, where he just goes full beast mode. So that's kind of what happens by the end of the movie for this character. And it's really good. It is fantastic.
Okay.
It's got great sub characters as well.
Yes.
It's a good movie. It's one of the best zombie films. But like you said, it's very low budget. It's very grainy. I didn't see it in theaters. A friend of mine, we watched it together. They had it, I think, on DVD, and I swear I thought it was a bootleg. That's how it feels when you're watching it. But it's such a great movie. You get all the feels in it. It gets to you.
Yeah, I highly recommend you check this one out.
I've got a long list of movies to check out, apparently. Coming from someone who says this is their favorite decade. I know, I'm basic, I know. And you're going to see how basic I am with my next picks.
It proves how much and how deep the 2000s actually got.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 28 Days Later definitely changed the game.
It did. It inspired, I'm not going to say it inspired Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, but I mean, come on. Fast Zombies again.
Greetings from Raleigh, North Carolina. Welcome. We've got a few new faces in here.
Yeah.
Faces, new names.
Okay. Ojo.
Thanks for joining us tonight. All right.
What's Sam's number 4? I'm
curious.
curious.
Okay, my next 4 are just like a given for me.
Oh, okay.
Are there going to be? There's no surprises here. My number 4 is House of Wax. This is one of the movies I watched when I started getting into horror, and I mean, the casting is perfect. Like Jared Padalecki, we got Paris Hilton that gets a hole through her head. She's looking sexy while she does it, and it's just such a fun movie, and it's nostalgic for me. And even the scene where Jared is stuck there and his face is melting and they start picking at it, and like that still gets to me. Like that part's disgusting. And this is just one of those movies that's a comfort movie for me. I could throw it on any day of the week and be happy.
Yeah.
I think I showed you this movie.
I think I had seen it before, but it had been
didn't remember
over
it,
10 years. Yeah.
But you enjoyed it watching it?
I did, actually. I developed a greater appreciation for this movie. Mm-hmm. And then when I started looking up reviews and people giving a more in-depth look of how the set of twins that are the killers and the set of twins that are in our main characters, how they have the comparisons and the deeper meaning of that. And I was like, okay, there's actually some substance to this movie that I thought was just a piece of crap when I first watched it. The only thing that doesn't hold up for this movie, for me, and it bugs me every time I watch it, is the good twins, the ones that we're following. They have just the weirdest chemistry going on. Like they were fucking behind the scenes for sure, because they weren't acting siblings. They were like, we're doing something later. This tension's gotta go.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
It was a little awkward, but I mean, I just don't.
It's just, I think the part of the reason where it feels like that too is you don't buy Chad Michael Murray as the bad boy in this one. Is that because that's who it was, right?
Yeah,
Chad Michael Murray?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I didn't buy him for that. I liked all the characters. For me, what doesn't hold up well, and it makes me laugh every time, is the special effects at the end, the wax burning.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, they could have done something way better here. But no, I love The House of Wax. I think it's such a fun movie. However, for me, I don't feel that it's a House of Wax remake. I feel it's more of a Tourist Trap remake.
Everybody says that.
Yeah. I haven't seen Tourist Trap yet. It's on my watch list. I want to see it.
When you watch it, you're like, oh yeah, you know what? They did a lot more regarding that movie than the original House of Wax. But the other thing I love is, I know, especially at this time, and I think part of the reason why this movie got shit on when it first came out was Paris Hilton's attachment to it. Because at the time, it was in the whole, like, they started turning on her. But she has a top 5, maybe top 10 horror chase scene. I think that scene is fantastic. I think she did a great job, and I loved that kill. Such a good movie.
I love her in that movie. She's my favorite character.
Her
and her boyfriend, I'm like, yeah.
I liked her. I thought she did so good. I'm like, why do people shit on her as an actress? Because this movie, I think she did great.
I know. I just bought a movie with her in it, and I think it's going to be absolutely terrible. Please tell me if you've seen it.
It's in 9 Lives.
Is it terrible? Yes, it's mine at 9 Lives. Thank God it was cheap.
It is so bad.
Okay. Yeah, I bought it just because I've been wanting to see it because she's in it mainly. But okay, noted. I'm still gonna watch it. Okay. Just attended Battle World last night on the Night Watch Zone with Wrong Turn versus The Hills Have Eyes. Wrong Turn was the winner. Wrong Turn is really good.
That's shocking. Wrong Turn's good. Don't get me wrong. I remember when I first watched that as a kid in 2003, and it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I was 10 years old when I watched that movie.
Yeah.
And that movie scared the shit out of me. But I still think that, like, personally, in my opinion, I think Hills Have Eyes is a more all-around better movie.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. House of Wax is such a fun early 2000s horror, and I'll always back it. Me too, and thank you for joining us, Chris. I can't say enough good things about House of Wax.
No.
But we'll move on.
Great fun pick. I love that pick.
Thank you. Okay, your number 3 then.
My number 3 is another one that I recently watched, but it had such a great impact. Another foreign ghost horror movie of the early 2000s. It is 2008, produced by Guillermo del Toro, The Orphanage. It's a Spanish language film. This woman and her husband live in an old orphanage that she grew up in. She has a son. This son goes missing, and it's just about this journey to find him and this mystery. Another similar to The Ring, like there's a mystery tied into this whole movie that you have to unravel, and it is daunting. It is bleak. At the end, it's a very beautiful film at the end, but throughout the whole thing, acting's again phenomenal. Some good solid jump scares, but overall, just like it might be one of the best beautifully told ghost movies that I've seen.
Okay.
Agreed. I know you haven't seen it, and there is the reveal at the end and what happened is just soul crushing. It is so sad.
Like I cried. I legit, and I will admit that I cried when I saw what happened, and I'm like, well, this sucks.
Yep.
I gotta see this movie.
Yeah, it is a while to get there, but it is worth the payoff. Okay. And it's genuinely creepy. Great acting from everybody all around in that movie, and just absolutely just.
I feel like I've seen the trailer. Is there like a scene where there's like banging on a door? I know that's so vague.
No. Yeah. It's like it's a knocking game. She's playing a game from her childhood.
Okay, I've seen a trailer and I was very intrigued, but I just never got around to it.
I think I have it downstairs.
Okay, I want another one to add to my watch list. Yes. I need to take a week off work. Chris, The Orphanage was so depressing, but agreed, such a beautifully made film.
Yeah. Let me see. I guess we're on to my number 3. I will be. We've already talked about it, but it is The Ring from 2002. This is the start of the Americanized J-horror remake phase. Yeah, shortly after that, it was The Grudge, then One Missed Call. Yeah, Pulse. Just Dark Water. I think The Uninvited is an unofficial remake of Tale of Two Sisters.
Yes.
So yeah, it was just nonstop after this movie, and this was the movie that started it all. I love the lore behind this movie. This movie came out at also the perfect time when videotapes were just entering their last phases because DVDs were like taking over. So I am so envious of people that have this VHS because I think to have it and then watch, like, you don't even have to watch it on VHS, but to have it just feels like, it feels dangerous. You feel like you could watch this movie and be like, oh, somebody's going to call me. Because I remember my mom watched this movie with her boyfriend at the time. And after they were done, he called the house and scared the living shit out of her. And I can only imagine how many times that happened to other people. It was the same thing.
That happened, or there was those chain emails, or like
Yep.
so many different things. Like if you don't send this to whatever, however many people, you're gonna die in a few days.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. And this movie, I think, in my personal opinion, I found it better than the remake. For the original.
Original,
Yeah. As a remake, you think it's automatically less superior, but this movie blew me away with how much I preferred it to the original that we watched this year. I think it still has like one of the best jump scares with the girl in the closet, and it's just iconic. It's so iconic that Scary Movie 3 made fun of it. You know, they put it in their spoof movie, and it kind of ruins the movie a little bit now because all you can think of is those two like essentially porn stars at the beginning of the movie, and them just playing it like it's just ridiculous. But yeah, iconic. Samara is great. She's a very creepy villain. Good little twist ending at the end. It's Nicole Kidman, right?
Naomi Watts.
Yeah, the remake queen there, and she's like in every horror remake. She's absolutely fantastic in it. You get that little kid who is just creepier than all fuck.
Yeah, he's creepy. He's creepy looking.
Yeah, he
like, everything about him. I was just like, are you the bad guy?
He doesn't even need to do creepy things. He looks like he needs to sleep for about 3 days. I've never seen a kid with like stress sleep eyes before until I saw that movie.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But that is my number 3.
Good pick. My number 3 is Jennifer's Body. I love this movie. I mean, I've got a tattoo for Jennifer. This movie just feels so. It's a comfort movie for sure. I mean, Megan Fox, Amanda Seyfried, Kyle Gallner, I love him. It almost feels like I'm watching a horror version of like Mean Girls a little bit, with like their attitude and like them talking back and forth with friends. It's very like Regina George, and like I don't know. I just love this movie so much. It's so good.
Yeah.
That's all. I just love this movie so much.
It's iconic.
Yes, iconic.
This is Diablo Cody, right? Wrote it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And directed.
And directed. Okay. Fantastic. I love Diablo Cody's work. Lisa Frankenstein. Like, they understand high school kids, like, and how to make horror movies for them. But no, Jennifer's Body's fantastic. So many like quotable lines.
Yes.
And I think that's where like it also mirrors like the Mean Girls, Jawbreaker, Heathers type movies, because it is horror. Like there is some good horror elements to this movie, but you have those quotable lines that you do like from Mean Girls. Like you're killing people. I'm killing boys. Like, I love that shit. It's such a good movie.
I know. I love a good quotable movie, and I love the relationship between Jennifer and Needy too. And I love Needy's boyfriend. He's so cute. What's his name again?
Yeah, I want to say it's like Jake, but
no, it's gonna bother
like
me. I just love everyone in this movie.
You get
Go ahead.
I was gonna say you get the OC guy and
Adam Brody.
Yeah.
Yes.
So every time I hear Jenny, I got your number or whatever, that's the only thing I can think about, and I just get right into it. Yeah. And then they end up like doing the ritual in that scene. I think it's so funny.
Yeah. It's also like such a dark story, like what they do to her.
Yeah.
And then like her coming back. Like it's actually like they make it this movie a comedy and stuff, but like the concept is dark, and it's based off of that. There's like a true story that it was based off of, wasn't it?
Probably. I know it was based off a place.
It was based off of. Oh man, I wish I looked it up before we did this. We did an episode a long time ago on another podcast, but it was based off of these boys that did some sort of ritualistic assault. It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad, but I don't remember what it was. I have to look into that again.
Another thing I like about this movie that it just makes me laugh. These are little things that I just think of is, why would you name her Needy? Yeah. Like, I think it's one of the funniest names. Just like the people under the stairs, the kid's name was Fool. Like, when you look him up, the name is Fool, and then you have Needy now, and I'm like, why would they do this to this character? These poor characters.
I know. I also love what Needy becomes, like when she's in the jail and stuff. She's so badass after, and I just love this whole movie.
Yeah, it's good. I showed you this movie, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Deep cut, and I don't know where on the list I would have it, but Bubba Hotep would be on it. we watched that.
Yeah. That's another like good movie, but it's like dark too, unintentionally dark. Yeah. But I like. Well, I'm a huge Bruce Campbell fan.
Nicole Kidman is in The Others, 2001. Yes. Yeah. His name is Chip. Thank you. Chip. Superior boyfriend character. Yes, I love him. He's so cute. He's just like such a gentle soul. Okay, we're going on to number 2, I believe.
Number 1. No, you're right.
Number 2.
All right, my number 2. Oh, this movie terrified me. It altered a lot of how I compose myself when I'm home alone. It still sticks with me to this day. Unfortunately, it just had a terrible chapter release recently. It is 2008, The Strangers.
Okay.
I would say in comparison to the movies that are now out, it's not as scary as some of the things that have come out. But for the 2000s, I think that is one of the scariest movies to ever come out of the 2000s, because that shit was scary. Jump scares like that. It had that stalking its prey mentality, and it just like got under my skin the whole time I'm watching. You have the undertones of a relationship falling apart, and then they're faced with this awful situation. And then the thing that makes it the most terrifying is, why are you doing this to us? Because you were home. Yeah. That's terrifying. Like, that just makes, and it just shows, unfortunately, it was a parallel to the world we were living in, still living in, of there are people who don't care about life, and they're willing to just kill people because they're bored. Mm-hmm. And that's terrifying to me.
That's a great pick. I honestly forgot that was in the early 2000s. That movie scared the crap out of me back in the day. Like, I remember having a watch party with my cousins, and they were all shitting themselves. They were all scared to watch, and then we did a Ouija board after. It was a fun night. But like, if I were to ask anyone, like, I remember asking people, like, just randomly, like, what's your favorite scary movie, right? And like, what movie really scares you? And people that weren't even horror fans, like big horror fans, would say The Strangers. Like, that movie would just come up when you think scary movie. Like, oh, that's a good pick.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Simple idea, great execution, in my opinion. That, even as the big horror fan that I am, that movie also scared the shit out of me. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why. I think it's just because of how realistic it almost felt. I understand maybe going back and watching it now, it might have some issues. It's been some years since I've seen it. Did we watch it together? Did we watch at all?
Sorry?
Did we watch it together at all?
Yeah, we did.
Did we watch it once?
We watched the 2, both of them.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I remember when I was living in Peterborough, we were just outside of town, and it was like an older house, and I was home alone, and I watched it, just threw it on. Mm-hmm. I slept the light on. Excellent. Liv Tyler, Scott Speedman. I think the three killers have become sealed as iconic horror characters now.
Yeah, if you see their mask at a store, you'll know what it's from right away.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Fool was his nickname, but it's what the film credits him as. His full name was Poindexter Fool Williams.
Oh, okay.
That's a lot of fools in that sentence. Because You Were Home will go down in horror history as the most spine-chilling quotes. Definitely.
I agree.
Yeah. I really don't like that they changed the wording in the new one. Like, they should have just kept it the same, in my opinion.
Well, there's a lot that they needed to fix.
I know. That's another episode.
Yes. All right, we're on my number 2.
Yeah.
Another trendsetter movie. This was the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake.
That's mine too.
Okay, like, you got to admit, this movie set the trend for the next 10 years, probably even a little longer, with Remake City. It was this movie that started the remake trend. And with that being said, I do think that this is a good remake of the original. It still feels dirty, still feels grimy. The Sawyers are just nasty, mean-spirited people. You got the Sheriff Hoyt, who is just despicable. You got a Leatherface that I think is probably one of the most terrifying Leatherfaces that I've seen. Beautifully shot, and yeah, I really, really like this movie. And it freaked me out so much as a kid when I watched it, because it has this open book ending and like beginning where it starts out with the found footage and then it ends with the found footage. I thought it was real. I really did. I was young and naive and dumb, and I fell for everything you were about to see actually happened in the summer of 1975.
I feel like I fell for it too, because it was one of the movies I watched when I was getting into horror, and it scared the poop out of me. And it, like, to this day, Leatherface is my favorite horror villain because of it. Like, he terrified me with his chainsaw and his mask. Like, I loved it. And now I love Texas Chainsaw movies. It was the first Texas Chainsaw movie I had seen too. I had watched it before the original. The original I only saw a couple years ago, and I actually loved it. But yeah, I mean, Jessica Biel, Eric Balfour, like, it's just so good. I love the cinematography. Like you said, it's dirty and smelly, and yeah, it's so good. I'm a remake whore. I call myself a remake whore, so give it to me.
I'm a fan of remakes too.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this one. It's on my list because, unfortunate hot take, but I do not like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. I saw the first one, wasn't feeling it. It's not my cup of tea, but everyone said, like, well, watch the remake. I promise you it's good. I promise you it's good. So I was like, oh, okay. I made the mistake of thinking I was watching this remake. Mm-hmm. I was not. I watched the very cringeworthy, I think it's The Beginning.
Oh no, I love The Beginning.
I like it too.
Oh, wait. It's whichever one had the awful line, do your thing, cuz.
Yeah, Alexandria Daddario.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know what one you're talking about.
It didn't help me get back into the Texas Chainsaw series.
That makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah.
I'm such a Texas Chainsaw fan that I actually don't despise that one. It's like, it's not great, but it's kind of fun. But I understand you should give the 2003 one a chance. And The Beginning, I go back and forth with saying which one's my favorite, because I love that one so much. It actually gets a little bit more gory, whereas 2003 doesn't have a whole lot. Yeah. Ooh, I would be very curious to see what you think about 2003.
Okay, I'll move it up on the list. I should watch it. I do know I should watch it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I'm surprised actually you haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I'm with you on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise as a whole. I am not the biggest fan. I do appreciate the original and its sequel. I haven't seen 3 or 4 in a very long time, and then you got the 2 remakes, and I hated Leatherface. I hated Texas Chainsaw.
Like the 2022.
No, that's Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh my god, I know the titles get so confusing.
Yeah, there was one
I actually like. The Netflix one, I actually like that one.
We didn't mind it either.
Because we were on mushrooms.
Well,
I didn't hate that one. But when I did give it a rewatch, I didn't love it. It didn't give me everything that I wanted from Leatherface. I wanted him to put someone on a hook. I didn't get that. I just it's good. Cinematography wise, it's beautiful. But I just didn't.
That scene was awesome.
Fully do it for me. Yes, that scene I will. Yes, I did like that scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, you let me know when you watch it because I'm very curious. No rush, obviously. You just gave me a million movies to watch too.
No, I'll watch that one out. You know what? That one, I'll live tweet that one.
Okay.
Just so that I can see how that goes.
Perfect. The TCM remake is so good in completely different ways from the original. I totally agree. I really enjoy the original, but this one is just, yeah. Love it. Okay, well,
we both of your number 2s.
I know. I was going to say we both did our number 2, so we're going on to your number 1.
All right. Well, my number 1, I stated that it was coming. It is The Descent. I think that is the best movie of the early 2000s. I think, like you said, it's claustrophobic. There's a beautiful story to be told. There's great character pair dynamics between best friends who betrayed each other and then continue to betray each other. Things that are happening. What would you do for to survive? Type of questions. Heartbreaking at times, and then, like you said, the practical effects. Once you get to see the creatures, especially in the 2000s when it came to like creature features, I feel like they built things up, and when they did show it, the payoff wasn't there. But with The Descent, they were creepy. They nailed the design, the movement. Like, I want to know who was behind all of those creatures because the movements were just phenomenal. That movie scared me. That movie made me want to watch it immediately after I saw it. I have no new things to say other than what we've already said. That movie is just the number 1 movie. And it's probably, like how I said with my list, like some of them are my favorites, but I didn't want to put them there. I think this is the perfect combination of this is a movie that I can say is in the top 10 favorite movies of all time for me, as well as the perfect movie of the early 2000s.
That's a great pick.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
That we've talked about it already, but yeah, so claustrophobic.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's my number 2 or number 1. I think we're gonna have the same one.
I know we are. I think.
I don't think we are.
Oh, you don't think we are?
No. After realizing that we've kind of went a different way, I don't think we are gonna have the same one. I'm very curious.
I think you're gonna know what mine is because of reasons. But
no, I think you forgot about this movie because it hasn't been on your list yet, which is shocking. I'm shocked. I'm gonna say it. This movie is. I was talking to Christian last night about this movie. I did an interview with him, and if you want to know a movie that defines the 2000s, I think no other movie can define it other than Saw.
Oh,
yeah. Saw was our Friday the 13th, as he stated. It was a movie that blew up in 2002. And then every year after that, you got a sequel that everybody went to go and see. This movie was, it was just lightning in a bottle that just didn't end when it should have. I'm not
still going.
and still alive and fortunately healthy. This isn't the best franchise in my opinion, but Saw is still the best movie out of the franchise. You get the amazing Danny Glover, Carrie Lewis, Lee Wan-L, and James Wan's feature debut, and Tobin Bell as well. So I know this isn't on your list.
Yeah, actually, it's not.
And it just feels like if there was one movie that summed up the 2000s, this was it, because this movie set the ultimate trend. Everything was inspired by this movie afterwards, with Hostel or The Collector. Oh, God knows how many other low-budget torture porn movies there were after that.
And I love them all.
Vile.
This one was the one that had the best sort of storyline running for it.
And the best ending. Still to this day, it's my number one twist in horror history.
Absolutely.
But
so
I know someone keeps calling me an unknown number, so I'm just ignoring it.
Oh.
So yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, I didn't put it on my list. I don't know why.
I don't know why.
It killed me to not put it on.
Yeah.
But I love Saw, but the reason why I couldn't put it on is because the first one is not even my favorite of the franchise. So I felt that I couldn't put it on the top 10.
What's your favorite?
My personal favorite before Saw X came out, or Saw 10, because that's now my favorite one. I love Saw 2. Yeah. I love Saw 2. It just... Saw 1, everything that you said, and I think you said the guy's name, Chris, saying, like, this is our Friday the 13th. That makes so much sense, and you're 100% right about that. But something about 2 kept what the essence of what 1 was, but then just kind of made it very 2000s. Like, a little silly, but a little over the top, outlandish, but still good. And it's just a fun time for me. It's like a combination of the original Saw and House of Wax. Like, there's some silliness, there's great storytelling. I love 2. But Saw, great movie.
Yeah. I love 2 too. The first 2 are great. Yeah.
I like the first 3, honestly.
Yeah. I don't remember the rest.
Me neither.
Which probably says a lot, but
I actually like them all. Obviously, some aren't the greatest, but I'm just like, if I start watching one, I end up watching them all.
Yeah.
Like, I have to just watch them all.
I just go in for the traps and I'm happy. Like, I even like Spiral, and I know people hated that movie, but
I liked it.
Show me some traps and I'm happy. Fuck people up. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good pick. It's not on my list. I feel like you know what my number 1 is.
I do. I already wrote it down.
It's my number 1. You already wrote it down.
Yeah.
Okay, before we go to my number 1, let's catch up here. Because I was on mushrooms, but I feel that. Yeah. The Descent ends bleak as fuck. Mm-hmm. Great number 1, I think Saw was the rebirth of the trend of gore fest and carnage candy.
Yeah. Absolutely, it was.
Yes. Saw 2 had Mudvayne on the soundtrack too, so brownie points for that.
Okay.
I feel like my eyes are like, our laptop's kind of far, so I can't really read. Okay, my number 1 is easy peasy. This is my favorite horror movie ever, not just of the decade. It's my favorite horror movie ever, and it's to no surprise for our regular listeners. It is Friday the 13th, 2009. Thank God Rob's not in the chat because he's going to make fun of me.
Oh, yeah.
I will shout it from the rooftops. It is my favorite movie. It's my comfort film. Oh my God, I love all the cast. I love the long intro we get with that cast. It is so much fun. And then the main cast, and there's such a good soundtrack. It just leaves me with such a smile on my face. We get gore, we get comedy, we get the boobies, we get everything. It's my favorite movie.
Understandably so. I'm with you. It's not mine, but I can see why. Like, I love that movie. I go up for that movie. The remake and the fourth one with Corey Feldman. Those are my two favorite tied. Like, I can't choose between the two for my favorite Friday the 13th films.
Yeah. Yeah, I just love it so much. I watched it for the first time in high school and then didn't watch it again until I met you.
Yeah.
And I just had a stupid smile on my face when we finished. And I think I even said to you, this might be my favorite movie.
Yeah.
And it's just the perfect slasher movie for me. It gives me everything I want. And I've seen it so many times since you and I watched it that second time. So I love it. It's so much fun.
Your list is awesome. Like, we need to do a part 2 because, like, I need to have the same fun with my list the way that you did with yours, because I'm like, there's so many more movies, and Friday, like I said, Friday the 13th, 2009 would be on my list. I love that movie.
I'm what do they say? A simple man. I'm a simple woman. I don't get super deep with my movies. Every now and then I want to watch a deep movie and have my soul crushed. But for the most part, I just want to have a good time and be comforted. So that's my number
Blood,
one.
guts, and ass kind of girl. We love it.
Yes. Exactly.
I like that. You should get that tattooed somewhere.
I should. Oh my gosh. Well, that's it.
That's it.
Do we want to do some honorable mentions? Because I mean,
if we want to do a part 2 in like a month,
we could do a part 2.
I'm so down.
Okay, so we'll save our
because I would also like to do a fun list.
So we'll do like our top 11 to 20 or whatever. Is that how that's going to work, or just a
top 10 part 2?
Part 2, yeah.
So, like, our favorite 10, like, kind of thing.
Okay,
I'm down for that.
For me, then I'll just do my next ones because I already did my favorite. Okay, well, we'll save the honorable mentions then. We won't go there. We won't touch those.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the comments here before we sign off. Saw movies have some of the best twists and deaths. I wish I could experience the Saw twist for the first time again. Me too.
Yeah.
It is like, it shocked me. And I wish I could see it for the first time as well. Like, and every single movie has a twist. Sometimes they are ridiculous, but it's still kind of fun to try and figure it out.
Maybe if you're on shrooms, it'll feel like the first time again.
Challenge accepted. Agreed, Chris. When he stood up at the end on my first viewing, it gave me chills. Game over. Yeah. Run the sequel. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having me. This was such a fun time, and I'm even more excited for the next one. This was such a fun time. Like, at first, like I said, it was difficult making these choices, but now, like, all bets are off, and I feel like we're just going to have such a fun time.
I'm down. We will literally DM you after, and we'll schedule you in so we can do it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Do you want to let everyone know again where they can find you?
You guys can mostly find me on Twitter /X, Mike Unofficial X, and Mike Unofficial on Instagram and TikTok.
Perfect.
I don't really post much on there, though.
That's okay. I know it's so hard to keep up with all the platforms.
It is.
Yeah. And like, Twitter's just so easy. You just type.
Yes, I know. I used to hate Twitter, but it has grown on me so much in the past couple of years. Just the community. I mean, it's toxic at times, but there's there good people on there.
Yeah. I'm like, I just focus on you guys and the other people that I made my own small community with, that I'm just like constantly have to like comment so that you guys just filter on to my timeline so that it's not filled with like toxicity.
The drama. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again. And thank you to everyone that tuned in. We appreciate it. And we hope you had fun with us. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.